Hi there, my name is Kelly Kaifer, and today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of dispositions in the field of education. So, I would like to start off my video discussing the dispositions that I feel that I possess and that make me a successful teacher. The first belief is that all children, all students can learn, and how important setting realistic expectations and supporting those expectations is in the classroom. And it's absolutely essential that educators acknowledge this and acknowledge the fact that we have students with varying ranges of abilities and various challenges as well as strengths, and we need to accommodate that. We need to do that by adjusting our lesson plans. We can't pick one activity and expect that all students can do that and do it at the same degree, the same level. We need to scaffold our plans. We need to put accommodations in place and make sure that we're reaching those kids on their level. The second disposition I would like to talk about is how important it is to be sensitive to social needs and diversity in cultural backgrounds. We are faced with all kinds of diversity in the classroom, which makes it amazing. And we need to be sensitive to these things, and we also need to incorporate different cultural beliefs wherever we can. Um, we want to make families feel that they can trust us, and we want them to feel valued. Everyone comes from a different background, and there's so many ways that you can incorporate this in your lessons, in your teachings, in just your everyday conversations with these people. Learn what's important to them, and that will truly, truly form these really special bonds with the families. Just for one small example, I have a student who is from China, and I wanted to reach her in a different way that I hadn't done before, and I thought, let's do Chinese New Year. So we did a whole lesson, and we incorporated all kinds of things for this, and I actually reached out to the community as well and found out they were doing an event that was going to celebrate Chinese New Year. And so I invited all our families to it and actually saw some there, which was amazing. And then actually, I decided to record some of it so I could show it as part of my circle time and just to introduce our kids to different cultures and also embrace the culture of the student that I have. We had little stations with using chopsticks. I teach in preschool, so very kid-friendly ideas. And I had Chinese music playing, and it's just a very simple way to reach families and show that you respect them and care. Okay, the next thing I'd like to talk about is the dispositions that I feel I need to really focus on growing and enhancing. So the first thing would be the recognition that reflection combined with experience leads us to grow as an educator. For me, this was really important because I am not a seasoned teacher. This is my second year in early childhood special ed. Previously, I was a sign language interpreter, and I have been involved in education for 17 years now in different capacities, but never as an early childhood special ed teacher. So a lot of times I feel, oh, I don't know that, or I feel like I'm not as confident as I could be. But when I was thinking about dispositions that are important, this one really struck a chord with me because my experience is important. I can reflect back on different experiences that I've had. I've worked with children of every different grade level and different strengths and different challenges, and I can rely on that. I'm getting my degree now, but I kept feeling to myself that I didn't have the confidence because I didn't have this degree. But reading that disposition really makes me feel that experience is everything, and I can relate to these families, and I probably can have a little bit more confidence because I do have quite a strong background. And I think it's important that we reflect on the past and what we can learn from it. It's always important to learn new things, but see what's worked before. And if it hasn't worked, why? And reflect on that. So I found that to be really important and something that I want to continue to grow within myself. The second disposition that I want to grow within myself as an educator and that I'd like to talk to you about is the effect of community involvement. So this is pretty big at the school that I work at. However, I feel like I could have a much bigger role in it. I really want to stay connected with my families as well as the families that are in our building. I'm one of 6 classrooms. So I think it's important to hold community nights, something that might be important to the families that they might not get elsewhere. Recently, we did one on picky eaters. So we brought in a professional and we made a night of it, and we invited families. We provided childcare and I think pizza for the kids, and just let the community kind of come together and learn about something that can help them at home. I think that's one great way to reach out. I'd like to bring to the table a lot of new ideas and new ways we can possibly bring in speakers and, show our families we're there for them more than just teaching in the classroom, but, to reach out just a little bit extra, I guess. And I think that strengthens our bond with the families as well and within the school with each other, because we do these things together. We do other events where we do a take-home activity. We talk about a literacy event or a math event. We take these activities, we talk about it, we read a book together, and then we give them a take-home activity plus an activity that is guided by us. And I think that's just an extra way to reach the community. I think making our families aware of things that are going on in the community is super important. They might not have the resources that we have. And so I think sending out emails or putting up outside of our classroom some posters with information that can grab the family's attention and say, hey, I'd like to go to that. It's something they might not have thought of, but you are kind of bridging the community with your families at school. So I think that's something I'd really like to work on myself and grow as a professional in that way. And then the third thing I'd like to talk about are the expectations that I want to uphold as a professional in this field. The very first thing would be the commitment to teaching and learning. Just in general, taking workshops, attending seminars, not just staying with what I know, but branching out, learning about something that feels so different and maybe even challenging to me is something I really want to push myself to do. A lot of times I know that we have so much on our plates. I feel overwhelmed at times with the amount of things that I need to do for my students, for my families, for myself. But I think continuing your education and continuing to expand your knowledge and your repertoire can only help you in the future. And I'm really interested in doing that. I have spent a lot of my time focusing on sign language because that was my prior profession. And so now I'm learning so much and taking advantage of workshops and even webinars that are available to me now. And I think that's extremely important because our field is always changing. There's something new to find out about how to write IEPs, how to conduct an IEP meeting, all kinds of things. And I think keeping up with that is absolutely essential in our field. And it can only bring about positive change. The other expectation that I want to uphold is the disposition of professional friendliness, warmth, genuine caring about our families and our students. This to me is number one. I think the way that you can connect is by being a genuine teacher with that teaching heart. And it's not just the student. It's the whole picture. It's the family. It's the siblings. It's the parents. It's the community as a whole. And I think that is the foundation for everything that we're doing in the classroom. So that is something that can always be important in my life and something that, I might have a day where, things are hard or I have a lot on my plate, but it comes down to what kind of teacher do I want to be or what kind of person do I want to be? And that's really more important than a lot of things that might be on my list to do that day. A lot is expected of us, but I think the very foundation is creating those trustworthy relationships, those bonds, and letting the families know that they can rely on you and that they can trust you, and that all comes from your disposition. So I think that's all I have. I appreciate you watching, and thank you so much.